Jet lag. You've heard of it. You may have experienced it. If not for yourself, you've heard of plenty of people that have. What is desynchronisis or jet lag? Why does it happen? And how can I prevent it or treat it if it does happen to me? Desynchronisis or jet lag is caused when there is a problem between your chronological clock, what you wear on your wrist or the clock on the wall, and your own biological clock. This happens when our biological clocks can't keep up with the rapid changes in our chronological clocks. In other words, our circadian rhythms get thrown off, and those circadian rhythms do not sync up with our environment. This makes it difficult for our brain and the hormones that it releases to know when to fall asleep and when to release these hormones. This ends up disrupting many things in our body. It disrupts our body temperature. It throws our immune system off track. It increases our blood pressure and can actually lead to increased heart disease and strokes. It also increases our hunger signals. It changes and increases our eating habits, and these things can lead to diabetes and obesity. It increases our inflammatory markers and significantly can worsen headaches. In fact, in research studies where we have taken hamsters and mice and repeatedly exposed them long-term to jet lag or changes between their biological clocks and their chronological time frames or environmental signals or cues like sunshine and dark cycles, that repeated exposure has been shown to reduce neuronal conduction speeds by upwards of 50%. So it's no wonder that if you're experiencing jet lag, you may feel like your brain's not firing on all cylinders. The symptoms that you may feel include decreased attention, fatigue, stomach upset, mood changes, excessive sleepiness, decreased concentration, increases in appetite, and again, severe generalized headaches. So let's talk a little bit more about the neuroscience of jet lag. When we sleep, when our circadian rhythm, our biological clocks begin to work correctly, it all starts and is triggered by light. Light enters our eyes, hits the pigmented cells at the back of our eyes, and sends a signal directly to the suprachiasmatic nucleus. The suprachiasmatic nucleus is a cluster of about 20,000 neurons that's located in the hypothalamus. And this specialized portion of our brain is what helps regulate our circadian rhythms when they receive light input. This also regulates melatonin and cortisol release and contributes to the regulation of other body functions. So when we travel long distances quickly, especially when we travel eastward and the chronological changes outpace our brain and our body's ability to keep up with it, we end up throwing off our entire rhythm. Our biological clocks change much slower than the clocks on our walls or the watches on our wrists. At its best, at its very best, our biological clocks can adjust 1 hour a day for each time zone that is changed. Let's make that easy to understand. If we travel across 3 time zones, that means it will take our biological clocks on average 3 days in order to adjust with our brains and our sleep cycles and our circadian rhythms. So how can we hack the system? How can we decrease the symptoms of jet lag? How can we improve our cognitive function, decrease our fatigue, and lessen the experience that we have with jet lag, especially when we're traveling far distances over a quick period of time? This is easy. Let me give you the secrets. Number 1, you can always adjust your sleep-wake cycle before your trip. Now, if you're going to do this, there's a scientific way to do it. the first thing that you need to do is you need to measure your body temperature. We sleep best when our body temperatures get lower. So if you measure your body temperature and you can time when your body temperature reaches its lowest point during sleep, you can then set your alarm to wake up 2 hours before that happens. You will wake up at that time, and then you want early light exposure. Let me give you an example. So you wake up hourly throughout the night. You check your body temperatures. If your body temperature is lowest around 4 a.m., you then set your alarm clock for 2 a.m. Your alarm clock goes off, you wake up, you get out of bed, you give yourself early light exposure, and then you stay up from that point on until you go back to bed again. You can make incremental adjustments in doing this until you are able to train yourself to wake up at the new time in the new time zone you anticipate needing to be fully functionally alert with. The second thing that you can do is you can use melatonin. This may help your brain adjust more quickly to the new time zone. Avoid falling asleep on long flights. As a physician, this is one that I think is very important. If you are sitting in an airplane seat, you know how cramped they can be. Your legs are at a 90-degree angle, they're uncomfortable. If you fall asleep, this may end up causing you to have neck pain. But without moving your legs for long periods of time, you can develop blood clots in your veins. Those blood clots can then break free and they can go up into your lungs and cause a pulmonary embolism. It can lead to heart attacks, and in some patients, it can lead to strokes. So, avoid falling asleep on long flights. Get up, walk around, move. Avoid alcohol. Don't consume it. It's going to mess up the entire biological system, particularly your circadian rhythms when you're adapting to time zones. Avoid marijuana. Perhaps one of the best things that you can do, and the thing that I highly encourage you to do, is use a sleep light or a light box. Getting that early light exposure is going to help ingrain the new biological rhythm to match your biological clock up with your new environment by giving you early light exposure and triggering your suprachiasmatic nucleus to wake you up. Remember, this suprachiasmatic nucleus, as the sun sets and goes down, is also going to start indicating changes to your brain, increases in melatonin, changes in cortisol as well, to help you know you need to start falling asleep. So early light exposure is going to help your brain adapt more quickly to your new environment in the new time zone. Avoid caffeine. Stay active during your flight. We have talked about that. And the most critical thing that you can do is hydrate. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. You want as much fluid as you can. Intake it and make sure that it's good, healthy fluids. Water works great. Hydrating is going to give your brain and the cells in your brain the electrolytes and the fluids that they need to continue to maintain their neuronal functioning quickly. Hydration can also help you stay awake for prolonged periods of time. If you think about it, the number one cause of people waking up in the middle of the night is to use the bathroom. So if you're on a long flight and you continue to maintain your hydration, you're going to get up, you're going to use the bathroom on the plane, it's going to keep you moving, and it's going to make it so that you can adapt more quickly once you get to your new time zone. Now, 2 little tricks that might help. Number 1, this is an exception to the no sleeping on the plane rule. If you can schedule a flight that allows you to sleep during the night, that it is actually going to be nighttime at your destination, and you can wake up and land and arrive during the early morning hours, have at it. Try to sleep on the plane. That will help you already get in the stage of sleep that you need to be when you arrive. The second thing, kind of an insider tip, don't order room service. Instead, especially for breakfast, get up, get out, get light. Have that stimulate your suprachiasmatic nucleus and get your day started with. Remember, the best way to sleep at night is to get as much light as you can during the day. So before you get on that next flight, watch the video, share it with your friends. And if you're interested in learning more about your sleep-wake cycle and your natural biological rhythm, watch our video on sleep.